Very well then. Prepare to go ashore. Bright rays of sunlight beam down onto the warm South Isle. Something about the place reminds you of the refreshing cool of the ocean. After weighing anchor and docking your ship at the pier, you go ashore. Utterly exhausted from hours at the helm, you stretch your legs for a moment, then open up your map. Once you have your heading, you and the others make for the village of Coveton in the south. Okay, now let's go. This must be a Phila of the Isle's guardian spirit. A well-to-do looking old man calls out to you. Care to try your luck? You decide to tempt fortune. The old man says that if you can roll a higher number than specified, you'll win a prize at no cost. However, a meager roll will require you purchase the prize from him at an inflated price. Now then, let's begin. Today's prize is... The old man pulls something from his bag. You take a die from the old man and give it a squeeze. It's do or die. Alas, fortune does not smile upon you. You take your prize and austerely hand the old man his payment. Your venture cost you a pretty penny. Pleasure doing business, the old man cackles as he wanders off to parts unknown. So hot, you grumble, as you use your shirt to fan yourself. Wondering how Laddie is holding up, you turn and see her squeezing a blue ball of fluff tightly. She begins to rub her cheek against it. From the elated look in her eyes, you can only guess how cooling it must feel. But the sight sends shivers down your spine. Laddie, that's a monster, you shout, readying your weapon. The village floats in the center of a cove. The gentle lapping of waves fills the air. Coveton seems like a peaceful place, far removed from conflict. As you enter the village, you're greeted by an unusual sight. A paper doll flitters about like a bird above a man's hand. At your straightforward question, the man appears to be at a loss for words. Now, where could she be? He murmurs. Though the maiden isn't here now, you know for certain that one lives in the village. The man sees your curious gazes and explains that he animates it with a magic charm. He claims that all the villagers use such spells to enrich their lives. You thank the man, then resume your search for the maiden. The village gets so lively when the maiden is here, the man mutters, his brow furrowed with worry. The old woman stares intently into a crystal ball. "Not ready to show me, are you?" she mumbles at it. She tells you she first used magic when she divined who she would marry, nigh on 50 years ago. You can't help but admire her dedication to the craft. The innkeeper's eyes light up in surprise and delight. Well, well, well. To what do I owe the honor of a visit from the son of the Fortune Tellers Alliance chairman, she asks. She clearly has you confused with someone else. But on the plus side, she is extremely happy to see you. So happy, in fact, she waives the fee for your room. The party leaves the inn feeling rested. The entrance to the shrine is resplendent with seashells. The maiden must make a hobby of collecting them. The woman sighs. That maiden's gone gallivanting again today. Despite being tasked with protecting the village, it seems she has quite the infamous reputation. Face contorted in concentration, the young boy deftly folds a piece of paper into the shape of a bird. You ask him about the maiden. "I saw her at the Maiden Shrine," he says, as he tosses the paper bird into the air. Wonder of wonders, the paper bird flaps its wings and flies about, showing you where the Maiden Shrine is. The man tells you the village may be renowned for its magic charms, but the tasty fish caught here aren't half bad either. A well-maintained fishing boat sits anchored in the water. You glance at the catch on board and deem it acceptable. At the heart of the shrine, you see a young woman and man discussing something in earnest. The woman's name is Phila. She is, without a doubt, the maiden shouldering the Isle's fate. The man's name is Hyde. He is the maiden's wise attendant. Excuse me. I need to speak with the maiden, you say. Interjecting yourself into their conversation, Phila whirls to you and asks, "Which do you think is cuter?" Though you're baffled by the sudden and unrelated question, she doesn't miss a beat and shows you a seashell in each of her hands. Caught in the moment, you mumble an unexpected answer beneath your breath. You quickly realize your mistake and look around when... "Oh my," Phila remarks bashfully. Hyde simply gives a "huh" in response. Laddie looks off into the distance, her lips pursed as if whistling, though no sound comes out. Lack, annoyed for some reason, seems on the verge of rebuking you. Apparently, the maiden and her attendant had wagered on which shell was cuter. You had heard about the Azure Maiden from the villagers, but now you see for yourself that she's quite the free-spirited woman. You explain to them why you've come and ask if Phila will lend you her Maiden's Relic. Despite knowing the circumstances, Hyde tells you that things just aren't that simple. You take a deep breath and prepare to persuade them when... "I'll let you borrow it if you help me find the pirate's treasure," Phila says. She explains that there are rumors of pirate treasure hidden within the crystal cave southeast of the village. "Pirates," you murmur. You think about it for a moment, but with little other choice, you agree to help. "You never change," sighs Hyde. But Phila pays him no mind as she prepares to embark on the adventure. All right, things have taken a very lively turn, haven't they? Okay, hold up. You have to... From out of nowhere, a sweet fragrance wafts over you. You look up to see ripe fruit in the tree above. There's a reasonably sized stone at your feet. A precise pitch at the tree's bough could knock some fruit loose. You take the stone in hand and wind up. Your pitch strikes a ripened fruit dead on. Its splatter rains down upon your heads. You spy a parcel on the roadside. As you pick it up, you are enveloped in a wonderful aroma. Inspecting the parcel, you read its intended destination was Coveton. You know not its contents, but will you complete its delivery? You decide to deliver it on your way and tuck the parcel into your bag. The bizarre rock transformed into a treasure rock. Having arrived in Coveton, a woman asks you, "Are you the postman?" You shake your head no. She says she's been waiting forever at the village entrance for a delivery. Her eyes light up when you show her the parcel you picked up. "That's what I've been waiting for." It seems the parcel contained an exotic perfume she ordered. While dancing a jig in celebration of her long-awaited perfume, she hands you a gratuity for carrying it all this way. The Crystal Cave teems with the stones that give it its name. They say the intermittent echo of water droplets is the sound of more crystals forming. Your party and Phila have become fast friends on the road to the cave. Though Laddie seems somewhat nervous to finally have a female friend her age, she looks happy nonetheless. The loose-lipped Phila tells you all sorts of details about her life, including the fact that she and Hyde are lovers. Hyde seems on edge about her blasé divulgences. You give him a pat on the shoulder, quietly sympathizing with him. And fight. you come across a large boulder. You aren't sure where it fell from, but some of it is submerged in the waterway and is obstructing the water's flow. The 5 of you rally together, then push, and... the boulder sinks into the water, stopping its flow completely. It looks like you have a new path to tread now. Phila hugs Hyde in her excitement. He blushes in embarrassment and reminds her that others are watching. At their public display of affection, Laddie covers her face with her hands, but peeks at them through her fingers. And fight. And fight. Fortune favors the bold. Just as you're about to open the chest, Phila interjects. I didn't tell you, but they say the treasure is protected by the pirate's ghost, she admits with a tremble in her voice. Laddie's face goes pale, and she squeezes Lack in her arms. The poor thing looks like it's in pain. I'm just kidding, Phila says cheerfully. But then, who goes there? A voice echoes through the cavern. My treasure. Mine. You sense a dangerous aura in the shadow of the chest and immediately prepare for battle. And fight. Excellent. Two fight as one. Excellent. After the battle, you finally reach what looks to be pirate treasure. Your hearts race in anticipation as you open the chest to find hundreds of colorful seashells filling it to the brim. The room falls quiet as everyone stares at the chest with abject dejection, realizing the stories were no more than rumor. After a long moment of sulking, you feel Laddie tug on your sleeve. She points to the rocky wall behind the chest. Upon closer inspection, you realize that there's a crevice just wide enough for a person to squeeze through. You discover a chest in the cavern depths. Your allies rummage through its contents, but don't find anything resembling pirate treasure. A droplet of water falls. Once the ripples upon the surface still, it feels as though time stops. All falls quiet. A beautiful underground lake, its waters glimmering like crystal, stretches out before you in the cave's depths. Your collective breaths are taken away as you gaze upon the dazzling sight. The lake's light reflects in Phila's eyes, and she gently takes Hyde's hand in hers. "I'm so happy we can see this together," she whispers. Though you had come to the cave in search of treasure, you found something far more precious. You return to Coveton, basking in the afterglow of such a marvelous discovery. You arrive back at Coveton safe and sound. Ta-da, Phila says suddenly, pulling a crystal out of her pocket. Apparently, she took it from the cave so that Hyde could make them matching couples charms. With a sigh, her attendant agrees and says he will need to borrow the proper tools from the accessory shop. An air of gloom hangs over one corner of the village. It would seem someone has died. Asking a nearby fellow what happened, he explains a woman was attacked and killed by monsters outside the village. Talk is, the woman was wearing perfume from a foreign land that drew the monsters to her. They only discovered it after the fact, but that perfume was actually some sort of juju expressly for attracting monsters. You recall the woman to whom you delivered the parcel you picked up. Even if I didn't know, I'm the one who gave her the perfume, you think regrettably. Laddie gently places a hand to your back. You say a prayer for the woman's repose and quietly take your leave. Hyde asks you to wait outside while he enters the shop. Phila strikes up a conversation with Laddie while awaiting the other's return. The endless stream of words makes you wonder when the maiden has time to breathe. All Phila seems to talk about is Hyde. Nevertheless, she seems to have found an eager listener in Laddie, who nods with an elated smile. Hyde returns, completed couples charms in hand. The crystal charms look as impressive as any you would find in a shop. But Hyde's expression is grim. Apparently, he isn't as impressed by his handiwork as the rest of you. Phila takes one of the charms with a forlorn smile. I'll wear it to the maiden's ritual, she says quietly. Hearing the carefree woman speak of the goal of your journey, you can't help but ask for more information. Phila explains that she'll be conducting the maiden's ritual soon. You wonder if it's all right for them to be gallivanting around like this, considering how important the ritual is to protecting the island. As promised, I'll let you borrow the relic, Phila says, changing the subject. But it's far too important for me to just hand it over to you. So, we're coming with, she smiles. Though it's obvious she's just looking to have some fun, you have no choice but to accept the new term. With the Maiden's Relic finally secured, you and your unexpected new allies make for the Spire. Phila exclaims in excitement as she lays her eyes upon your vessel. How adorable! You grin, knowing full well that it is, and prepare for departure. You arrive back on Omega Isle. It's just as you left it, quiet and still, as if awaiting its inevitable destruction. How gloomy, Phila remarks. But her softly spoken words are swept away by the sea breeze. You stand before the Maiden's altar again and ask Lack what you need to do here. Lack explains that Laddie couldn't become a maiden because of a problem in her heart. How would you even begin to solve a problem in someone's heart, you wonder, scratching your head in thought? Just as Lack begins to cast a mysterious spell. As if responding to the spell, the altar begins to glow. Now, go into the light, Lack commands. You do as you're told, having no choice but to obey the self-proclaimed spirit. When you come to, you realize that you must have fainted after being swallowed by the light. You're in the Spirit Spire, or at least you're supposed to be. Something about it strikes you as strange. What happened, you ask Lack? Go outside and you'll see, it replies. Once outside, you find yourselves in the heart's domain, the birthplace of human emotions. But is it light or darkness at its core? You stand in awe of the world before you. It's entirely black, as if someone took a brush and filled it from corner to corner with dark paint. This is Laddie's heart's domain, Lack says. Lack explains that it's a dream world created by her feelings. You can't believe that this is what's inside Laddie. Sweet, kind Laddie, who wears her heart on her sleeve. Laddie's gaze falls to the floor, perhaps in shock at seeing what's inside of her. Lack points south of the spire. Whatever is eating away at her heart is in that village, it says. Since Lack seems to know the lay of the land, You decide that following its advice is for the best. Oh, this place is seriously weird, huh?